Hello and welcome to the Lone Star Varsity High School Football Show. I'm Phil Trino. Today I'm joined by Brian Navarrete. You know Brian from all his Friendship coverage for Friendship Today and of course the Lubbock AJ. Before we get into the Tigers game against Tascosa, we actually wanted to start with an LISD matchup between Monterey and Coronado. This is one a lot of people have been circling on their calendar for quite some time. Let's just get right into it. Who do you like in this one?
Actually, I like Coronado. I haven't seen them play a game quite yet in person, but it seems that they have more skill position kids coming into this one, while Monterey just has Baylor Mitchell.
When I think of Monterey, and it's too late for me because I've already gone down the rabbit hole here, I've already picked Coronado. So I did it on the radio today. I did it on the radio Tuesday as well. The other show is going to air Friday evening on Double T 104.3. So I'm already, married to this pick. The thing with Monterey is I feel like it's kind of on paper the safe pick, right? It had the very strong first year with Wayne Hutchinson last year, gets to the second round of the playoffs, and it's very consistent week to week. It didn't really have like meltdowns. If you look closely, there really aren't the meltdowns that you had a little bit last year from this team. Baylor Mitchell, of course, is definitely a Player of the Year candidate, but with Coronado right now, I just see a lot of potential, and I see a drastically improved team when you look at really how the Mustangs played Amarillo High.
Oh, definitely. It was a big upset for me. I know they didn't exactly win that game, but the margin was just too close to kind of, go out there and pick them against any other team in District 2-6A. On the other hand, Monterey does do a lot of things really well, especially Baylor Mitchell in running the ball. Coronado, I have not seen their defense. I don't know if they're going to have the personnel to actually stop Baylor Mitchell, but I do think they have the offense to kind of offset that. Get ahead early and stay ahead.
I think one thing that to me stands out immediately is that Coronado, its run game it didn't drop off in the 1 week when it started to miss Emory Giddens. In case you haven't been following this, on Monday we broke a story about Emory Giddens and his arrest following his accused involvement in a vehicle burglary incident. So that was actually on October 4th when that took place. He did not play in the Amarillo High game. Today at the LISD luncheon, I spoke with both Seth Parr and Mark Ball. He will also not play. His current status is he's back in school. He is participating in the athletic period because it, of course, is considered a class, but he is not practicing and will not play until further notice. Mark Ball said he's evaluating this on a week-to-week basis. So, you watched film from that Amarillo High game and you didn't see a drop-off with the running game, because I didn't see it in the box score either.
No, definitely not. It seemed that they have kind of personnel to kind of make up for. Emory Giddens is a presence on the field. He's a big kid. He's able to get out there, make a lot of things happen with, just the athlete that he is. But they did find somebody to kind of replace him, a pretty big kid in himself. He seemed about 6'4", 200 and maybe 50 pounds or so. Right. But they were able to find somebody to kind of replace him, or at least fill that spot on the left side of the line. So.
And Emory Giddens, if that's a name that doesn't really ring a bell for you guys, he was a selection to the Lone Star Varsity Super Team, first team for basketball last year. Also the same exact thing for the preseason football team this year. And he is really right now the biggest FBS commit to Texas Tech, or really an FBS commit in the region, although it's only a verbal commit presently. Friendship Tascosa.
I have not seen Tascosa at all. I have not exactly read too much into Tascosa, but these Amarillo teams seem to be a lot stronger than these Lubbock teams every year, it seems. I do like Friendship heading into this one if they can play a full 4 quarters. We didn't see that again last week against Monterey. That first half, the game was a little too close for comfort, I think, for the Tigers, and I think if they really come out and play 4 quarters, definitely they're contenders in District 2-6A, but that's yet to be seen. So in this one, I may go Tascosa.
I like Friendship here. I think right now it's once again, it's unwise to pick against the Tigers until they give you a reason not to. That's at least sort of how I view this year. Every week there's always a week where we talk, in the newsroom about, is this the week we're going to pick against Friendship? We haven't really deliberated about it that much. I know Tascosa, I believe, has an injury to its fullback, which might impact the, really run-heavy offense that it runs. I think right now with Friendship, it's continuing to do things well. I think Coronado has a legitimate shot to give Friendship a game if it plays disciplined, and of course Amarillo High as well.
Oh, definitely. I think as far as Coronado comes, as long as they can stay on the board and continue to move the ball against Friendship, they have a really good chance at winning that game. And the only reason I pick against Friendship this week is maybe kind of to tip the scale. I mean, I want to see Friendship go out and beat Tascosa, just because I want us to have that as far as a story. But it might be the week to pick against them.
We're going to take it down to 2A now, actually. Abernathy and Hale Center. This is a game where, if you looked at it on paper at the beginning of the year, would not have been that compelling at all. All of a sudden, though, it gets pretty compelling, especially after the 41-7 loss Abernathy had to New Deal.
And Hale Center's 38-36, I believe, went over Tohoka.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, DJ Dunn, he's a great quarterback. At the beginning of the year, whenever we were doing our football tab, Darryl Daly over in Abernathy, he was joking at the time, but he mentioned that DJ Dunn was definitely a kid to look out for, and that's proven to be true so far heading into this district, heading into this season. He's been done really well, outshadowed by kids like Danny Campos,
yes.
But he still puts up, quite a few numbers, gets his touchdowns, everything. He moves that offense effectively.
I think because of the struggles that Abernathy has had, I mean, you look how it opens its year with a 25-0 loss to Post. It's had some competent games since then, but that blowout loss to New Deal was not promising at all for Abernathy. It shows to me how far the team has fallen from what was an outstanding squad last year. A lot of that stems from, I don't think it's as powerful on the offensive line. There are some really skilled, talented players in the backfield, but there's just not enough push for them to make use of that space. The final game we're going to go over quickly, Seagraves and Morton. The reason we're discussing this is not necessarily because it will end up being the most competitive of games, but because there's actually the return of two important players for Seagraves.
And two important players being Corey Kyle and
Joe Guerrero.
Joseph Guerrero or Joe Guerrero?
Same player.
No, he's a phenomenal sophomore quarterback. He can move the ball. He can throw it. Not the strongest of arms, but he definitely works that offense really well. And with Corey Kyle back, I mean, obviously he's a tremendous athlete. But they seem to have still won their game last week, despite losing the two.
I was watching. I was observing that on Twitter as I was at the New Deal game, and I see that Sundown is beating Seagraves 7-2, and I'm like, this is one of the games we didn't staff because I didn't think it would be close, and I'm like, wow, this is about to be a huge win for Sundown. I'm texting around trying to get the Sundown radio guy's number. I finally get it. We're texting back and forth about the game, and I learned a little bit about what was going on. I think it's very impressive of Seagraves to play for 2 weeks and get 2 wins, without having Kyle and Guerrero.
Big emergence of, I believe, what was it, Robbie Pignon?
Yes.
In that game, he had a rushing touchdown, I think,
yes.
late in the game to win it. I don't know exactly what the return of them to will impact Seagraves, but I think it's definitely a positive for them.
We just had the little bumble there of Joe Guerrero's name. It's actually just reminded me, if by any chance anyone affiliated with Post is watching, we wanted to just take a quick second to officially apologize. Someone on our staff actually called head coach Anthony Pittman, in his story last week, and it ran. So we wanted to just take the time to sincerely apologize, because Post did not get a new coach named Anthony Pittman.
No, not at all. It is still Michael Pittman, as far as we know. Maybe our speaker knows a little something different. But
we wanted to just officially apologize about that, because it's always embarrassing to have errors. For Brian Navarrete, I'm Phil Torino. Thank you very much for watching, and please keep up with us this entire weekend on all our social media at Lone Star Varsity. Thanks very much.